ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to No Filter Gen Z. We are young Americans fighting to defend the truth, and today I'm with John Wyatt and Fidana Dorcias. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. There's a lot to talk about, again, like always. We just had another hurricane. We just talked about one last episode, and now we just had one directly in our area. We were right on the point that made landfall. So you guys just want to give an update with how you're doing, because John, you're not home, but your house is in this area. So let's just start with you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm up here, Virginia. We didn't get hit at all, but my parents are down in Bradenton, Florida. Yeah, we lots of debris, and our neighbors got trees on their houses. So, I like a really tall oak tree fell on our neighbor's house. So that could have been easily our house because we have same trees in the front yard.
Yeah, just gives it like a perspective to people that don't know what it actually was like here, because we were in it. So what about you, Fidana?
Definitely we lost power. There's a couple debris here and there, but it's not like such a huge disastrous cleanup. It's very minor, so I'm very grateful for that. But I had friends and family members that had just more catastrophic, things that happened with the hurricane. But I think I'm just really grateful to be alive and to hear my friends are alive. I think that's the biggest takeaway with the storm.
Yeah. One thing that I took away from it is like you don't know how blessed you are until you're in the middle of something like that. Because then you look around at your friends and family and how grateful you are just to have them with you. And then also for power when it comes back on, you're like, whoa, thank you, God, for all this. Because air conditioning, even, like, it's something you don't even think about on a daily basis. But then when you lose it, you're like, dang. So that was the hardest part for us, is the power, is not having all that. But now we're back and we're able to film. Just today, I got power back. So thank you guys for, being cooperative. But I want to go into something with this storm and with hurricanes in general, natural disasters. Last episode, we talked about FEMA and the response to, the last hurricane, Helene, with North Carolina, because they went through a lot too. But this time, it's in our area. So who is supposed to help us right now? Like, what, from your guys' opinions? Because from my perspective, I'll just give you guys that real quick. Is I think, first of all, the government, yes, they need to be giving us funds and more stuff, and I think more money should be directed towards disaster relief. But also a local level, community needs to be involved, and I think that starts with the church. I was just at an event yesterday morning of a church. We all went to different projects that people needed help with and just cleared debris and did what they needed. So, Fidana, what do you think we should do in these times like that?
Well, I don't think FEMA has money to really give to people, to be honest with you, and even $750 is not going to cut it for
No.
most Americans, to be honest. It's like grocery money that will last them probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, it's really the community just coming together. I would definitely say we're seeing a lot of the churches being on the front line, helping people. I would definitely say, really, that's who I'm really seeing right now. And then every now and then you see kind people that's willing to help you clean up your home. But I would definitely say most of the help from what I'm seeing is coming from the church.
Yeah, we've even seen from Helene in North Carolina, the government wasn't helping at all. Like, there wasn't anything getting to them, but the community really helped each other, and it showed something. So, John, what about you and your parents? What do you think they think about the funding they're getting and how they're going to help and get helped?
I'm not getting too much specifics because I'm not sure what my dad is hoping to get, but he did express that things are taking a very long time recovering wise. Gas lines, I
Yeah.
know even yesterday they're still very long, and it's been I don't know how many days since the hurricanes, but I think we're not seeing like government support recovering in additional resources, and I think the most painful part about this is my parents are struggling to get to work and from work because there's no
You need
gas,
gas, yeah.
and they're low on food. They're on canned food right now. They're
Wow.
fine, but they're fine. But I think the biggest thing that my dad expressed to me was that there is no government involvement. Therefore, the recovery process is taking a very long time.
Well, that's a good point. If there's not that, then it's going to take longer. But one thing we have in Florida, which even here it's hard to get things on time. But DeSantis has been really good with disaster relief, our governor. And one thing
Yeah.
he did was send out big fuel trucks, and there was actually free gas at like 10 different locations yesterday. The only problem is how long it takes to get there, and when these huge lines, like by the time you get to the front, the gas might be gone. So even here we have things to work on, but I'm grateful for the governor we have. Fadana, have you seen anything with his response to this hurricane?
Definitely, I've been seeing how the governor had been handling the situation like a pro. I feel like even Kamala, like she was trying to come at the governor, um, attacking his character basically.
Ridiculous.
He didn't have time for that, honestly. And I just love even before the hurricane came, he had uh, the inmates coming out and passing out the sand and giving it to people in the car. He was basically putting the inmates to work, which I think is a great idea, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, because they're locked up, they're bored to death. So, doing something, not considering yourself but serving other people at the end of the day, I think it makes people feel better. And I think definitely the governor, he even had the Coast Guard going out, passing out food, water. If anything, I think our governor doing the best that he can in comparison to what we have seen with this administration. And I'm not even trying to be political, but it's like if you hear there's one of your states that you're representing, something happened, you would want to be on the front line showing that you really do care about these people. But we haven't seen it from this, you know,
Yeah.
administration at
And
all.
and that's exactly what happened is Kamala actually it was really weird because she's not the president, but when she wants to be seen as part of the administration, she chooses when that's a good thing and when it's not.
Right.
But one thing I saw on the Weather Channel, they called her in to give a response live on television when everyone was watching the hurricane. And I was like, and all she did was bash DeSantis. And I was like, why? Well, first of all, why are we calling her and not the president? We have a
Right.
president. And two, why is she politicizing this whole thing? That should show you her true colors right there because she was trying to take advantage of the disaster. Did you see any of that, John?
I've seen bits and pieces on the news and other sources, but honestly, I'm not to what you're referencing. I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't seen it myself, but if we just let's take a step back and look at the track record, she's left similar behavior and patterns throughout this whole year. So I
Yeah.
mean that speaks for itself.
You just look at the administration and see the same patterns over and over. But I actually have a video I want to show you guys of exactly what we're talking about here. So I want to pull this up. It's going to be about just Kamala and DeSantis going in this weird. DeSantis actually handled it very good, but let's hear what CNN had to say about this real quick.
I mean, she's attacking the governor of a state that's about to get lashed with one of the most historic hurricanes we've ever seen. Is she crazy? He did not
I
ignore
think
her call.
she was
He did not
talking,
ignore
just
her
to be
call.
clear, she was talking broadly about the politicization of the
Cam, are we
circus.
supposed to
I
be
think she
hearing
was
this?
talking about Ron Desantis. He did not ignore her call. And in fact, according
Yeah,
to
we
what I've
can't hear
read
anything.
tonight, he actually spoke to the president of the United States,
He
Joe
did speak
Biden.
with President Biden.
And he has said time and again that he and the federal government are working well together. So who here is politicizing this?
Yeah,
Harris.
I hate to agree with Scott on anything.
So yeah, apologize for you guys. We can't hear it, but the viewers could hear it. Basically, I'll just explain it real quick. Is they were talking about the political games that Harris was playing with, talking to DeSantis and saying you should be doing this and this when she is the vice president, not doing anything for these victims. So that's basically what they were saying, and I was actually surprised. We saw this on CNN. So even CNN, one of the left-leaning networks, is starting to see the truth in these situations that Kamala is completely politicizing a disaster when Floridians are at risk of a hurricane. And DeSantis did the exact thing I would want a governor to do, and he said we don't have time for that. We're focused on the victims and the people that are struggling. We're not focused on these games. So do you guys like that? I love that.
I personally do. I mean, it shows that he's focused on what's important, and that's leadership. You got to cut out some of the extra bullcrap around you.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's being more presidential than the administration.
Right. I mean, we're definitely seeing a leader in the midst of adversity. It's either gonna birth a coward or a leader. And what we have seen is a leader from our governor since day one, with the way that he handled COVID and the way that he's been handling, the hurricanes that Florida has, been experiencing the past few years, because this isn't the first catastrophic hurricane. We had Ian that happened like 2 years ago, and people are still recovering from Ian. And then the other day we had Helene, and now we have Milton, like 2 weeks apart. And the people in Florida were tired, but we're seeing that our governor, he's putting on his army boots and he's stepping out and really helping build back our state.
Yeah, he's very presidential and handled it exactly how he should have. So that's the state standpoint. But then we see a national standpoint with FEMA, and we see that they really don't have as much money as they need. And my biggest thing with that is, okay, that's not the whole problem. The whole problem is redirecting the funds that we're giving to other countries back to that. Is that an idea you guys would see being something that would benefit us?
I mean, absolutely. How would it not help us, honestly? Because America can't help other countries effectively when our country's inside tearing up itself. And
Exactly.
we have problems inside. I mean, I'm very passionate about this country and what it can do if it gets back to its right path and is corrected and it corrects itself. America could be so great inside, and then it could overflow to other countries.
Yeah, if we have the resources to help ourselves, then we can help these other countries. But it's never going to happen until we help ourselves.
Right. I definitely agree with you guys with that. It's like trying to help someone that's drowning, but you don't know how to swim yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what sense does it make? You're both going to drown at this point. And so I definitely don't think that it's beneficial for us to be trying to help somebody else when the American economy isn't strong right now. Inflation is off the roof. Families can barely feed their kids. People can barely pay their house bills. Yet alone, we're sending trillions and trillions of money to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And what we're doing with this money is we're promoting war, to happen. Like, what about the American people?
Yeah.
And that's my biggest problem with the administration we have right now. They're not America first. Like, we don't have a president and a vice president that are putting its own people before other countries, and that's something that makes me feel not confident in what they can do for us. And that's why I think this election is so important. Is because we have to get back to putting America first, and that's the only way we're going to do that is a change in the government. And people always say,
"Make it great again."
Yeah,
yes.
Literally, make America great again. It's like the truest slogan ever, but a lot of people will say, people say it's the most important election every election. This one really is, because we're in the middle of one or two different paths. We're at crossroads of where we can take the country to the next level. So, John, I mean, do you see the impacts of this administration, and can they do anything else to help us, or do we need a change?
This administration, I mean, time's almost up at this point. I don't think they can do something drastically within the last 2 months that we have left.
Kamala's whole running topic is fixing the problems that she created.
Yeah. It would take a miracle, honestly, at this point.
I don't want to get too emotional, but it's a little frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
I believe in America, and I believe in what America could be. America, I don't want to go on a spill here, but it's a similar metaphor. We gotta improve ourselves, our faith, and sharpen our faith with ourselves and our relationship with our Creator, and then it overflows to others. It's the same thing with a government or the system. If it's not good inside itself, like inside the country, its own citizens, we can't help other people. And I feel like America, it's been given such a great opportunity to be such a powerhouse over the last 200 years. It's made its name in the world. And I feel like if America could be such a powerful country, and without corruption, we can help so many people around this world. We can fight off corruption in other countries, but it starts with us.
That's really good.
We can liberate other people, other countries.
Yeah, and we need to be giving our own country the opportunity to do that and spread the light, right? We can't just have this government that does everything for us and is this huge thing. And that's kind of why I'm a conservative, because I want to conserve the values that this country was founded on. That's the whole thing. So Fadana,
absolutely.
what do you think, Fadana, about that? I love what John said.
I second what John said 100%. Honestly, I think we need to build back stronger and better and make our country even better than what it was. I
Yeah.
mean, right now, I wouldn't. From a scale of 1 to 10, we're probably at a 4 and a 5. We're definitely not up there as far as like the performance. Like we're seeing China, they're pretty much beating us in a lot of ways. Even with a lot of the products is here in the United States. It's very rare to even see anything that's American made nowadays.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how come we're not promoting the entrepreneurship of Americans for them to use their creativity? Why
The
are
American
we?
dream.
Yeah. And that American dream is dying off because outsiders are basically living the American dream.
And that's what makes this country so great, is that you can come here and you can do and have your own potential depending on how hard you want to work.
Absolutely.
It's
Right.
not about getting handed everything to you, and not about being on the same level like Kamala wants us to be. It's about being able to do what you want with how hard you want to work.
Yeah.
Right.
Bouncing off of that, other countries are catching up to America not in a positive way, in a negative way. I mean, these countries will take advantage of situations like that,
Yeah.
and it will affect the future for sure.
Yeah, we have a few more minutes. I want to actually go off one thing John said. You talked about being that light to other people, and America
Absolutely.
being that country, so that once we can do it, we can show other countries the same light.
Yes.
That's basically being a Christian as well. It's
Oh, yes.
spreading that light. It's the same principle.
It's rooted right there.
Yeah. So in the midst of these disasters, I guess, in the midst of the chaos, election, hurricane, everything going on, Fadana, how can we be the light of Jesus and start spreading that while it's so chaotic?
I mean, you got to live it. I would definitely say start from that. As Christians, we can't just be saying one thing and doing another. We definitely have to live it, because in order for me to love my neighbor, I have to know first love comes from God, and
Yeah.
then out of the love that I receive from God, I spread it on to others, and then also like informing people, like spreading the gospel. And even with the election coming up, not being silent about it. There's a lot of conservatives are saying, well, Christians, I would say, they're saying, well, I don't want to get involved and vote. You not voting basically is you stating that you don't care what direction this country goes into, because God basically gave us our rights, and we have to exercise that and occupy it until he comes back. So
Yeah.
you have to be a great light, on a hill so that people can see it. But we also have to live it out and not just say it, but our actions have to follow.
Yeah, not voting is a form of voting. So if you're not voting, you are stepping out, and you can actually see some of the evil that's going on, because I believe we're in a spiritual battle, not a physical one.
Exactly.
And if you're not having
They won.
yeah, and so your vote is a gift, and we should use it to bring as much fruit as we possibly can. And for me, it's a lot about saving the lives of the unborn. We can get into that in the next episode of all the reasons that Christians should vote, because this is even a moral standpoint. Like, this is a fundamental human thing. It's not about these people. It's about the policies that actually can decide life and death, really. So, John, what about you? The same kind of question. What do you think that spreading that light could look like for us?
So, like for us, everyday people, I think it starts with living out our faith in small ways. The way we conduct ourselves. And sure, it takes lots of discipline. I struggle with it.
Me too.
Everything I say everything I say that looks like that, I struggle with. But for us people, it starts with our actions and how we, talk to other people. Just a small stuff. If you're talking to the government, we do live in America. There's multiple religions out there, right? But for those who are Christian, we know that every human has the moral rule in their heart.
Yeah.
There's a rule, basic freedoms, and that's what this country stands on. Those basic freedoms. And I feel like those leadership positions in the politics and government, they know right from wrong, and especially for those who call themselves Christians in politics, feel like the way we can get a head start in turning this country and how that looks like from a leadership standpoint is promote those freedoms that we have in our heart and that those God-given freedoms. And we don't see that, and those freedoms are slowly being taken away.
Yeah,
You know?
they are. I mean, freedom of speech, the most fundamental thing is being attacked right now, really.
I
if
mean,
if
you
think
get
about it.
fact check all the time,
I
Camden.
know we on No Filter Gen Z
Yeah.
here. We
Yeah.
get things taken down all the time, even if it's not a false claim, even if it's a fact. So
Yeah.
it's weird that we're getting fact checked, but that's exactly right. That's how the government can do it, and that's how we can do it. I think just being the hands and feet of Jesus, and really showing the light, but also showing the truth of God's word, because He gave us the word for a reason, and it's exactly what He wants us to live it out. So I think that's how we need to do it with other people. So
I do want to say one more thing,
Yeah.
or things. So America is a great country. We know that, and it could be so much better. The potential is amazing. Other countries look up to America. People come here. People cross the borders. Sure, it's wrong, right? Coming into a country is wrong, but if you really take a deep down and you really understand these people and why they want to come here, it's because they have freedom.
Yeah.
There's so much more opportunities, but there's a problem with we can't fit everybody in the world. We can't fit everyone from South America coming up here. It would be unsustainable, you know.
Yeah.
And then the citizens here struggle from it. You know, we can't do it. But what we can do is, you know, start being a little more turning our government, be more loud about what we want in this government, you know, and make this country better from the inside out. And like I said, help other countries, you know.
yeah, and
But
turning
that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, there's a reason why all these people are trying to get into the country, because it is still a good place, and we got to keep that.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them, but it's just if we let the borders open, you know, even these people that come here won't have those freedoms anymore.
Exactly.
You know?
And it's kind of reverse of what you're trying to do anyway by getting into the country.
Yeah, but some of these people I've met, and you know, if you really look at documentaries, man, it's really sad what they've been through, and that's why they're coming here. But then they get deported. It's a really sad story. But that's the country I want America to be. You know,
And there is a legal process too. Like there's a way to get in legally.
there is, but sometimes it could be a little tricky for some people. My grandma never got her citizenship. She's been waiting for over 2 years. But I mean, I did my 10 years. But it's not simple for everybody. But
It's definitely
there
not
is a
simple.
way. Yeah.
If you think about it, though, it is a crime to go in illegally. Like, even if it's hard to get in, if you're not doing it the legal way, it's a crime. So I think there's a balance of, you know, we do need to make this process quicker and better. Like,
Yeah.
there's always way to improve, but it's still got to be, you know, considered a crime. Kamala says it's not, but how do you have a country if you take away the borders?
If any Americans go to a different country and they don't really have a visa or the right documents, it would be illegal for
Yeah,
them
exactly. Any other country.
to be there, you know. But then at the same time, I also think too, okay, we've been talking about, you know, building the border. Build a border. I mean, it would definitely bring in less people. Of course, there's going to be those people, no matter if the border is built, they're still going to be determined to do whatever they can to come here. But I just get very tired of hearing about the border crisis all the time. Just build a border. I mean, no matter what, there's still going to be an odd person that makes it through the border regardless. But I think it would definitely cause for there to just be like less of an attention towards the border all the time. And even with the American economy, with like all the migrants that we have coming here, we don't have, like John was saying, the sustainability to, you know, hold all these people, you know. So build a border, but there's still going to be a few that's going to do whatever they can. But I think the border would definitely help mitigate this issue.
And by the way, we love immigrants. They are some of the best minds in the country that make it so great because America is so diverse like that. But there's illegal immigrants that are criminals crossing the border and killing Americans. Killing Americans, raping Americans, trafficking them. That's my problem with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like this is our country, but then
Right.
we're just letting all these people in they're not all like that, but there's a lot of illegal immigrants that are criminals, and that's something that we have to be more strict on, or else how are you going to have a country? It's going to overtake what America is about.
Especially with the cartels and
fentanyl. We have a
Yeah.
epidemic of fentanyl.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's a very wide range of things that are happening. It's just a mess.
I think we can all agree though that this current administration, they're leaving it open, and it's a problem. Even with so many.
They got the app that JD was talking about.
Exactly. So many Americans are so concerned, but the government's not doing anything about it, and that's my point where we need to change the government. If they're not going to do what the citizens want, then why do we have a government? It's we the people. That's the whole point of America. So
I believe in this country to be that has so much potential, and I really wanted this country to be like that. I would go to fight for this country. I might in the future, honestly, and I want to fight for that great country, dude.
Yeah, and we have a very good country still, but we do want to make it great again. I don't care what side of politics you're on. That slogan can be used for anybody who wants to make the country great again, and that's our whole point here. Is it's not even about the candidates. It's about what we can do to keep this country amazing with the freedoms we have and not let it slowly slip away. So thank you guys for coming on today. I know it was a last minute episode, and for you guys watching, we're still going to be on this schedule every Sunday. Don't worry. Fidana, John, thank you so much. And guys, if you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button and join No Filter Gen Z, because we're not going to be censored like these social media platforms are trying to get us to be. We're going to keep speaking the truth and standing on it, because that's what this whole thing is about. So thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next week on No Filter Gen Z.
Bye.